Good evening, everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, January 16th, 2018. I'd like to call the Committee on Appointments to order. With us this evening, we have committee members present: Green, Fleming, Caddy, Clark, and myself, Councilor Kushmerek. Also with us this evening, we have Councilor Squalia, Councilor Di Natale, Councilor Walsh, and Councilor Zarella, and Councilor Boschman. First, on the agenda this evening is a reappointment to the Board of Health, term to expire January 1st, 2021. Mr. John Bogdasarian. John, good evening. If you'd kindly come up. So this is a reappointment, and you've been on the Board of Health for some time, and yes, please. You've enjoyed the experience thus far?
Yes, been a great learning experience. I've enjoyed it very much. Wonderful people I've had on the board with me to work with. Steve over there, who's kept me in line, so it's been a very nice experience.
Wonderful. Questions from councilors? Councilor Caddy.
John, it's just, nice to see you, retiring and still being involved with the city, and that's very commendable. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much. I wish I were retired, but
Well
I'm
said.
trying, yeah. Thanks so much.
Motion to approve the reappointment.
Second?
I have a motion and second to approve the reappointment for Mr. John Bogdasarian to the Board of Health. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, John. I'm glad I was able to spare you that 45-minute acceptance speech as well. Yes. You'll have your opportunity at the full council meeting to work. Next this evening, we have Fitchburg Disability Commission, term to expire May 1st, 2019. Ms. Sheila Vandreau. Sheila with us this evening? She is not. Councilors, any questions? I know you received, this is a reappointment. You received her resume in advance of the meeting.
Motion to accept the reappointment.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept their reappointment. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimous. Motion carries. New appointments, Board of Commissioners of Trust Funds, term to expire January 1st, 2021. Ms. Sophia Bogdasarian. It's a vaguely familiar last name.
I know. A little bit of nepotism going on here, I think.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Can you share with us just a little bit about your past experience and what you're hoping to bring to the Commissioner of Trust Funds?
Well, I've been living in Fitchburg more than half of my life now. I went to Fitchburg State College, and John and I moved here in 1979, so I've been a part of this community for a very long time. And I must admit, we love living here, and I'm a retired oncology nurse from the Cancer Center up at Burbank, and also in my life I've done a lot of volunteer work. And I think that's why I was asked to be on this committee. But one thing is that I believe very deeply in education, and I believe that the commission is interested in giving out scholarships. One thing that I am doing right now is I'm the president-elect of the Mass Medical Society Alliance, and they also have a scholarship, and they asked me last year to read the applications for that. So I have a tiny bit of experience. It's not easy. It's actually quite difficult, but I hope that I will be up to the task.
Well, Sophia, thank you for all the service you've given Fitchburg thus far in your career, and excited to have your energy and your passion continuing to work for the city. Councilor Green.
So I would like to say thank you. I appreciate your family's involvement in continuing to move the city forward. So again, know that that is much appreciated.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the reappointment.
I have a
or the new
motion,
appointment.
motion and second to accept the new appointment to the Board of Commissioners of Trust Funds for Ms. Sophia Bogdasarian. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Next, we have special police officers for the city of Fitchburg, terms to take effect upon retirement. The following four: Sergeant Gary L. Ouellette, Officer Stephen E. McBride, Officer Matthew L. Burns, Officer James Connolly. Chief Martineau.
Good evening, Councilor. Good evening. I'm here seeking the support of the Appointments Committee for the appointment of four of my recent retirements coming from the police department. These 4 officers have spent the last 30 years of their life working for the city of Fitchburg. And upon retirement, they've asked me to continue on as special police officers. Sergeant Gary Olet, Officer Steve McBride, Officer Matt Burns, and Officer Jimmy Conley, all of which I said have worked the last 30 years as police officers. 3 of them officially retire this Friday. Sergeant Gary Olet retires the first week of February. Special police officers, as I said to this body before, we rely heavily on, especially during our heavy construction season, because they act as full police officers with full police powers of arrest, and we rely very heavily on their services. That's primarily what they do. They augment our force during the heavy construction season. But one thing to remember, they are full sworn police officers with powers of arrest to take action at any given moment. And in the case of any natural disaster and emergency, they can be called to full service duty because of their special police power status. We've been very fortunate throughout the years, the last decade or so, to have a lot of our retired officers take interest in that, and it continues. It's a way for them to stay connected with the police department. Sometimes it can be a little traumatic, leaving a job that you've done for 30 years, and this kind of eases them out of that job a little better. For the most part, they're at the station 1 or 2 days a week during the heavy construction season. So I'm hoping you can appoint these 4 officers as specials for the city of Fitchburg.
Chief, I hope you'll relay our gratitude, as a council and as a city for the service they gave and their willingness to stay on after a full career and stay on in their
Certainly
service.
will.
Councilor Caddy.
Not to just add to the time they spent there, but these are probably 4 of the nicest gentlemen I think I've ever worked with. And to me, I remember when they got on, I don't even know how they can be retiring. I'm thinking they're kids.
This is a big blow to the city. We're losing 120 years of working experience. To know these gentlemen, they're very shy, and they were very hesitant to come in front of this body this evening, and I respected that after 30 years. So I said I would do my best to present on their behalf. But it's a great loss to the city of Fitchburg, and I'm very grateful for this. These are the men that I started my career with, so it's kind of bittersweet as their chief watching them then leave their profession.
Motion to approve the appointment?
Councilor Squalia.
How many of our police officers that retire end up becoming special police officers, would you say?
In the last 10 years, probably 3/4. By statute, they can work up to age 70. There's certain requirements that they have to perform each year. They have to go through certain requalifications within the department, whether it's firearm training or first aid or CPR. They have to have yearly physicals. They have to show me that they're fit for duty. And like I said, they've been a great resource for the city of Fitchburg over the last decade or so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Gina Talley.
Will there be new appointments forthcoming for?
It's going to be a busy appointment season. We're looking at a potential academy to fill these slots with full-time officers, and then we have to, for lack of better terms, reload our roster as for reserve police officers and student police officers. So it's going to be a very active time trying to replace 120 years worth of experience.
What would you say is the average age of the force now that more of these retirements, I'm assuming we're getting a lot younger right now?
It's a great question, because I just looked that up today. When I started as chief 3 years ago, the average age of a Fitchburg police officer was 42. Right now, we're down to 38. So we're moving in the right direction. We have some way to go. And as I said to this body before, the makeup of our police department, we're going to be losing 3 to 5 police officers every year for the foreseeable future. Because of the hiring growth we saw in the mid-'90s during the Clinton administration. That type of manpower is leaving the police department on a yearly basis. So it's going to be challenging from a hiring perspective.
Thank you.
I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept the appointments for special police officers for the city of Fitchburg. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? We are adjourned. The council meeting will begin in approximately 3 minutes.